Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Work could be near for federal workers. President Trump's new executive order means federal workers must return to the office 5 days a week. It is a policy change that's getting support now from D.C.'s Democratic mayor. Fox 5's Tom Fitzgerald's at the Capitol. And Fitz, President Trump did not delay on this one. He did this day one.
Yeah, he certainly did, Angie, and expect that this is just going to be the first step in the president's efforts to remake the federal workforce, cut through bureaucracy, and instill more what he says is efficiency. Now, remember, work from home began during the first Trump administration. Back then, COVID-19, the precautions and shutdowns, but the federal health emergency has been over since May 2023, but yet many federal workers still work from home. A recent Senate report found that only 6% of federal workers work a 5-day full-time basis, and nearly 1/3 of the entire federal workforce still works from home. Many taxpayers who are in the nation's capital right now for the inauguration tell Fox 5 they've had to go back to work. They think all federal workers should as well.
We will also require that federal workers must return to the office in person.
People do need to go back to work, in my opinion, because everything's over now.
I don't necessarily think it's I think it's a political stunt.
Imagine how much money it's taking to actually run those buildings. No one's working there.
One of the supporters of this return to work effort is none other than D.C.'s Democratic Mayor Muriel Bowser. Was cited several times over the last few years that the lack of federal workers in the nation's capital has hurt the local economy. And while some labor attorneys tell Fox 5 they expect lawsuits to try to stop the White House effort, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen says he does have concerns about this one-size-fits-all approach.
This is something we're very focused on. Again, this is an area where we want to take a scalpel and not a meat axe to the issue.
Look, the reality is that before President Trump took office, there were collective bargaining agreements where a number of workers were allowed to work remotely.
Now, while there's been a lot of talk about this, the when it kicks in, that still isn't clear. The White House releasing an announcement on this, saying that they're directing federal department heads to act as, quote, as soon as possible. Live on the Hill tonight. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Fitz, thank you.
Hey, what's going on, family? This time for No Picks Podcast.
What up, family? Joe, No Picks Podcast.
All right, Joe. So what's your thoughts on, all the federal workers having to go back into the office 5 days a week?
My initial thought is he's drawn. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Like if I see, as someone who was working remotely for some time, back and forth, and then the pandemic basically like made it like mandatory until we came back. If your workers are hitting their metrics or getting their job done, completing all of their duties and responsibilities, and your office or department is functioning the way that it should do, I don't see the problem, bro. I really don't. I really think I think that part of the reason why, same thing with like, we're going to keep it at the federal level, but Philly made people come back to the city. If you work for the city, you had to come back to office, right? Because there were people working from home who were working at City Hall. Philly changed it. And Mayor Parker was like, no, y'all got to come back. So now people had to come back. And my whole thing is like, if people have been saying I can do my job at home, some things they make us come in for meetings that it's like, we could have a Zoom meeting for this. Like, I just think that this is an attempt for people can't micromanage people when they're not in the office. And I think that's the biggest thing. Some people want to be able to micromanage their employees. And it's like, well, you drawn. What for? If I can do my job at home, I don't know, man. That's my initial thought. So I don't know if you agree with me, but I just don't see the issue if people are doing their jobs and getting everything done. And that's, what I mean? If people are doing their job, leave them alone. Let them work from home, damn it. Where you fall on this?
Listen, this affects me directly. I'm a federal worker. I work for the Social Security Administration, which is a federal agency. And my schedule has been probably for like the last year and a half has been like hybrid. So I work in office 3 days and I stay home 2 days. So now this changes it to I have to go back 5 days. And they said they don't know when it's going to start. Well, I can't speak for other agencies, but for the Social Security Administration, it starts at the end of February. So at the end of February, we all have to go back 5 days a week. No questions asked. There's nothing to talk about. Either come back 5 days a week or find another job. Basically, is what it is. And listen, I'm not much of a complainer, right? So this is just me, how I am, by my very nature, right? Like, so once when COVID started, we all I never, it was March. We all was able to stay home. Well, the Social Security Administration, I can't speak about it, right? But Social Security people that work for Social Security throughout the country were able to start staying home March of 2020, and it was consistent up until 2023, and then it was like, hey, y'all gotta start coming to the office a little bit, whatever. So then we started. That's when we had the hybrid thing. Like we could pick our 3 days out the week. Like, hey, what days you want to come in, which days you want to stay home. And for myself, whatever, like I've been working for the Social Security. I've been working for the agency since 2010, and I knew what time it was. I mean, like for all of us knew what time it was. Everybody who worked in offices before COVID knew what time it was. This was never going to be a forever thing.
Of course, yeah.
Right. So the amount of time that we got to work home was just a gift. That's how I think of it anyway. Let me speak for myself. I thought of it as like a gift. I'm like, yo, this is fantastic. I could save money on this. I could save money on that. But I never thought it would last for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? For me, I'm not salty about it because I just felt like it was inevitable. So, I mean, does this suck? If my preference would obviously be, to work from home, I could just make a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich in my drawers, come downstairs in my office and work. But I mean, I'm not upset because I never thought it would last forever anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think it was going to last forever either. Like, I definitely don't. And if anything, it was more of like an experiment, right? Out of circumstance. And then after COVID, kind of the quarantine was lifted and people were able to go back outside and return to the buildings. Like you said, some people just kept it the same. Like, it's cool. We can just keep it hybrid. It's interesting because I was hearing some of the points that Trump was making, or they said Trump was making, that not having federal workers in the buildings is affecting the economy. Do you know how that works? Like, I'm confused. Like, how is that hurting the economy?
So, I mean, let me know if you agree, right? 'Cause this is just my hypothesis from it, right? Like, obviously, I wouldn't know.
I'm curious. I don't know.
So, like, all right. So you got in Center City, right? Do you have multiple buildings, of office workers and city workers and stuff like that? I think when they say it's messing with the economy, it's like people going to Starbucks, people going to Dunkin' Donuts, people going to like a local, bodega or something like that. So it's like if you take all these people out, then they're not fueling the local economy as far as like just getting random stuff. Like so how many times have you just walked past a store like, you know what? You probably don't even drink coffee like that. Be like, fuck, let me just go grab coffee real quick. Right. You know what I mean? Like that affects stuff. Like or I'm walking in Center City and I'm like, you know what? I've never have a fruit salad, but fuck, let me just go grab a fruit salad real quick. You know what I mean? Like so if you see
that,
you mean all those workers out, they're not going to restaurants, they're not going to restaurants for lunch, they're not getting a breakfast sandwich, they're not going to happy hour. So I mean I get what they're saying as far as that goes. It makes sense if you ask, because if it's less traffic, it's less people going to buy your product. If you were a local, store or something like that. That's how I see it anyway.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that makes sense. And people ain't out. People are ordering out less or eating out less. People are driving, which means they're buying more gas. People are probably paying for parking or
clothes.
More people on the road.
I mean, you walk past the spot. You like, oh, look at that shirt. Oh, I can wear that to work tomorrow. Let me go grab that shirt.
All right. Well, I guess there's some truth in that. I guess for me, it's just like, okay, so that's more. At first, I was like, "What the hell are they talking about? Hurts the economy." I could see that. I just don't think that for me is enough to sway me the other way. Because I'm like, bro, if people are doing their job, why? Like, I see, as someone who's working for a company who allow us to work remotely for a while, you know how much money they were saving on rent, bro. When everybody was working from home and doing their jobs successfully and making money for clients, like we did contract work for pharmaceutical companies, like we were hitting all our numbers, we was getting business, and they were saving so much bank because they didn't have to pay rent to rent out the office we were at for a while. And I'm like, yo, y'all saving money, y'all still getting productive workers, and then we win because we're home. So we, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like both parties were winning in that scenario. So maybe with the federal level is different, but maybe I'm just biased, bro. Like, I really enjoyed the working from home. Like, we had to come in. At one point, I was going in every day, like you said. But after COVID, things changed, and there was like fully at home. Then they switched it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I just feel like
I
people just
think
want
part
to
of this is
micromanage
also
their
hate.
employees.
Like part of this is
Yeah.
also like there's a bunch of people who never got the opportunity to work remotely, and they're just fucking haters. Like they're, you know what I mean? Like
Well, the
they're,
issue, yeah, I could see that. I could see in
yeah,
the issue in of fairness. Yeah, you might want them to come back because it's like, listen, there are other people who didn't get this opportunity, so
right,
they're gonna come back and work. But like, give them the hybrid. You know what I mean? Break it up. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, the way I see it, Americans are the most overworked. We work like 50 plus hours. We work
right,
weekends. We don't get a siesta. You know, places in Europe can you literally have a break in the middle of your day. You can go home and take a nap. You can go shopping. You can go
right,
eat a dinner for like, you know what I mean? Like you literally get like a 3 hour block in between your day to go
right.
do whatever you want.
Whatever you want
You know
to
what I'm
do.
saying? Like we don't get any of that.
I
And that
mean,
one little thing that we actually got was work from home. And
right.
now they're taking that away too, bro. Like,
But
damn.
think about even in the article we just saw, the Asian dude that was talking like, oh, y'all need to go back to work. That nigga's a hater. Like if he was working from home, he wouldn't be having this energy.
Yeah.
You could just tell whatever profession he's in, he's like, I gotta go to the office, I gotta go to this Y and Z 5 days a week. Why should y'all have to stay home? He's hating. But I think there's a lot of that. It's a lot of people who are just like, and I mean, I don't know. Like I think a lot of it is hate.
No,
but
it's a controversial issue.
Yeah.
I can see both sides. I can.
But it affects me.
Something that
it affects this affects me. Feel me? So like I'm like, I'm not upset about it because I just knew it would come to an end eventually anyway. Bro, in my office, there's a clear divide, right? So there are people who like myself who've been working for the agency for, 5, 10, 15 years, and we're all like, I mean, listen, it is what it is. We remember a time where we had to go to the office 5 days a week, and we none of us ever worked remotely, right? But there's a lot of people, Joe, who got hired during the quarantine, that they're like, yo, we got to look for another job. We got to quit. And so, these are, I'll say it, but it's a difference in age, because these are younger cats. These are like 25 and under. And these cats are like, yo, yeah, we don't want to do this. Like first they hated when we started coming back to work 3 days a week. They were like, yo, we hate this. Now it's 5 days a week. The two people I'm thinking about in my office are like, yo, we got to get going. Like they are not trying to come into no damn office, because that's not the world that's not the work world that they came into. So they're like,
right.
oh hell no, I'm not interested in this.
Yeah, no. For me, I don't have too much sympathy for that, because prior to COVID, I always had to go into work. So for me, that was that was my reality. That was
Right.
you leave your house, you go to work, you physically go to work. Like that's just what you do, So, no, I can see a little bit of both sides, bro. I just wish that we still had the ability to work from home.
Yeah.
Like, people are productive. Like I really quickly, I'll say from my experience, like for example, I have two daughters, right? One with my ex-wife, one with my current wife. With my first daughter, Kira, the oldest one, when I was working with the same company, I've been with this company. I was with the last company I was with for 10 years.
Right.
Kira was born, and she was either in preschool or in like some kind of childcare place.
Right.
So I missed so much of her development between the ages of like 1 to 3, because we couldn't watch her. Her mom was working, I was working, we had a little bit of time. But with my second daughter, I was working from home, and I was able to see so much of her youth as well, and see her as the baby, her infancy growing. Like I was a big part of all that experience. I got to see so much and interact with her. So for me, I'm biased too, because like you get to see more of your, like even as dad sometimes, or just as a provider, you're always out of the house making money, or you're never home to see the kids grow up and have these experiences, right? Like I got that. So for me, it's like I can't remember. I don't have a lot of fond memory. Now, I don't have a lot of memories of Kira when she was little, because she was always somewhere else. And when you have like 3 hours in the evening, by the time you get home, you got to put the kids together. Then it's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
And you repeat, right? So I can definitely say that working from home has benefits for the workers. So I'm biased. But if y'all got to go back, y'all got to go back. It is what it is, y'all. Like
Right.
It is what it is. So I'm biased, but I see both sides. Let's see what you want to open it up to the family.
Yeah, let's open it up to the family. Yeah, let us know what y'all think, family. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what y'all think. Until next time.
Until next time.